Hey, this is Tim Pierce. I'm going to teach you this blues solo, and if you click the link below, you get access to a whole collection of videos not on YouTube, including 7 alternate takes of this solo. Thanks so much for all your support. Thanks for your comments. Thanks for subscribing. Let's do it. So for this solo, I'm tuned down a half step. It's great for blues playing, and it gives the strings a real slinky feel. Allows you to bend a little bit better. Allows me to. Anyway, this solo starts on the 17th fret with the 3rd finger anchored on the 2nd string. There's a couple of grace notes in front of it. I'm in position 2, E minor pentatonic. Slide up on the 3rd string, and I arrive on the 2nd string. When I hit that tonic, I strike it twice and I vibrato. My next move is on the 1st string, and I do the bend up from the minor 3rd to the major 3rd, but only a slight one. Then I move my hand down into the 1st position, up here at the octave, with the index finger anchored on the 12th fret. And I do something that is kind of unique. You take your 3rd finger and you pull up the string without making any noise. Because what you're going to do is you're going to start the phrase with the string already pulled up. So pull up, strike, and drop down. And then pull off to reveal the index finger on fret 12. And the pull off is picking with this finger and not with the pick. But the key to this is to pull the string up silently with no noise. And when it reaches the top here of this whole step bend, that's when you strike it. Then I restrike these 2 notes with the pick. Let's review. Pull up. What happens next is a pretty traditional pentatonic walk down, and I start here on fret 12, and I do a pull up on the 2nd string, leaving the little finger out of this just kind of for strength. And then I do a double stop bend, so I pull up on strings 2 and 3, drop down, and then I revisit those double stops to complete the phrase. And what that is, there's an important roll that happens here. You see how that 3rd finger rolls from string 4 over to this double stop on strings 2 and 3? Has to be really smooth and kind of strong at the same time. Everything wants to be connected. You don't want any gaps between the notes. Let's review slowly. 2, 3. One more time slow. 2, 3. Now we continue walking down. I'm on the 4th string, 14th fret. And it's a pretty traditional walk down. Chromatic on the 5th string. But in the middle of the phrase, I move my hand and put my hand in a new position. So I walk it down from the 12th fret to the 10th fret in the middle of the phrase. Come back up, hit the tonic, and then my favorite moment is that ending. And that's just a hammer-on twice from 10 to 12. Review the whole thing. And the idea is to be very definite from beginning to end. You can see how hard I'm striking the strings. There's lots of pull-offs, but all the pick notes are struck pretty hard. Which to me sounds particularly good when you're tuned down to E flat and you're using the neck pickup. You can really attack these things. So next I drop my hand all the way down to open E minor. And there are 3 grace notes into the start of the phrase. And the reason I say that is because when the band lands back on E, it's on the 4th note of this phrase. So these first 3 notes are grace notes. And I come up on the 6th string, 3rd fret, 5th string, 2nd fret, continue, continue, pull up, and play these notes open. And then I pull on string 2, 3rd fret. Let those notes open again. This is how it sounds in context. I'm going to do it really slow. 2, 3. So I'm up here. It's pretty easy to move the hand down quickly and start this phrase. And the first 3 notes are grace notes. So here's what I do over the A chord. And what this is 6th. And I just come up and trace the A chord right here. It's this one that we're familiar with. And I play the 3rd and the 1. I'm on fret 6, string 3. And fret 5, string 1. Drop it down to G. Drop it down to D. Drop it down to E minor. Now I'm suggesting the chord shapes that these belong to, but it's just 2 notes. There's a lot of ways you can look at it. You can look at it in a scale way. So on this string, you're walking down whole step all the way. On this string, you're walking down whole step, half step, whole step. Put them together. Good double stop. If you look at the right hand, it's down, up, down, up. That feels good to me to do down, up, picking with this thing. And then I hit this D right here, which is a 3rd below. I'm kind of seeing this D chord right here when I hit that D. I shift over to the next 2 strings for that, strings 2 and 4. And then I slide up, and the band goes back to the 1, to the E, and I play the E dyad here, the E double stop, the 3rd in the bass, and the tonic on top. So to review, A, G, D, kind of the E minor, come back to the D here, and up to the E here. So I'm doing 2 parts of these chords. And it's happening while the band is playing the A. And then I bail out back into the tonic when the band hits E again. So I'm going to go really, really slow and show you this. It's also very kind of smooth and slid and joined. Everything is connected. And when you hit these open strings here, this gives time for your hand to pick up the next phrase on strings 2 and 4. Kind of a natural way for your hand to move to the next thing. And literally take my hand off, and it gives it time to grab the end of the phrase. So now my hand is positioned with the index finger on fret 5, string 2, and I start a phrase here. And I blend major and minor. I start with E major. I pull up on string 2, fret 7 to fret 9. And then I immediately play a minor 3rd. And I get that nice dissonance between these 2 notes, the minor 3rd and the 6th of E. So I play major, and then minor. If I spelled this without pulling, it would be major, minor. And then I walk up to a new position, and this is also E minor. This ends with a pull from fret 10 to fret 12 on string 1. So let's review this. This is basically an E minor shape. This double stop right here forms the basis of it. That's fret 9 here, and then fret 8 here. I pull up from 10 to 12, drop down, and pull from 10 to 12 again on the first string. And I hold it. And then to finish this off, these are grace notes into the next thing. I drop down from 12 to 10 to 7. And those are grace notes into the band heading to the B chord, the 5 chord. And the riff there, I believe, is... And I'm in a perfect position here just to play in B minor or B7, or just play over the B chord. I can do either one. I could have done that. Just stretch up to the blues or play minor. I chose to treat it as kind of a minor thing. And this is one of those situations, again, where you can exchange major and minor because we're playing the blues and it's open. And this is sort of a displacement. I pull up and I walk back and I walk forward. Then I pull these two notes here with this double stop. Drop it down. This is the same thing we did earlier up here. Earlier in the lesson. Earlier in the solo. And I end the phrase with the tonic and the flat 7 below. And that's a pull off. Pretty strong B. You know, it's the 5 chord. It's pretty simple. I'm there. I can just visualize it and play it. The grace notes in. One more time, kind of slow. Here are the grace notes. Here's the phrase in B when the band goes to B. Now next, the band drops to A and I drop to A. It's pretty simple. My hand is here, I'm playing in B. My hand is here, I'm playing in A. What I do here is... And I'm playing A major. So I make the choice to do an A major, but it's the minor to major hammer-on. String 3, fret 5 up to fret 6. And then I hit that A on top, just like I did before when I did that riff. It's the same shape. And then I do a pull-off over here. I'm literally singing A7 when I play this. And that's a pull-off, but it's a pull-off with 2 fingers, which is takes some strength and some evenness to do that right. You go from the little finger and you pull off at the same volume that you picked. And then pull this off at the same volume you picked that. So that's the key with this, is to make all the notes sound equally strong and equally the same volume. And then I come back up and I restrike. Let me do it slow. And then once again, grace notes back into the E chord. I'm a little ahead of the band hitting the E chord. And so I start the phrase. Those are 3 grace notes into the next phrase, which is a really fun chromatic thing. I'm headed back to E, open E, first position, and I walk down with these drones right here, strings 1 and 2, all downstrokes with the right hand. 3 strikes with each. So let's put all this together. And I want to show you it's divided up. That's the first part. Those are grace notes. The band hits the E, and I start walking down. Do it really slowly. So it's kind of a false start on the phrase. I'm playing across the bar. I hit this note 3 times. And then I start again and hit it 3 times. And walk down. Hey, so now we're in the home stretch. My hand is in the open E position. And I do this. And what this is, I strike this first string, and then the second string, and then I pull off. And then I pull up on the 3rd string, fret 2. Play the open top 2 strings. Come back down. And then finish out with a pull off on string 4, fret 2. and then a pull off on string 6, fret 3. So, fast. Let me do it slow. 2, 3, 4. One more time, slow. Try and do all these last 3 phrases together. Even a little slower. 2, 3. And I guess the key here is when I do the walk down, the new phrase starts immediately. So there's no time lost. Once I hit that open E note up here, it's the first note of a quickly descending new phrase.